the secret history of moons. What the solar system tried to forget, you breathe in, a slow, deep breath, filling your lungs with the stillness of the stars. Tonight, you are not falling asleep. You are falling backward in time, not just in years, but in memory, in vibration, in the resonant echoes of worlds that once spoke and now remain silent. Somewhere in the space between sleep and memory, the solar system keeps its secrets. The moon's quiet and silver to the naked eye are not what they seem. They are archives. They are hollow. They are layered. Io, Ganymede, Ceres, Luna, worlds whispered about in elite rooms, written off as rocks, yet teeming once with life, with structures, with watchers, with experiments too old to explain in human tongue. Tonight, we drift gently into those forgotten corridors where the air is thin, the gravity low, and the memories remain sharp because no one ever truly left. Let your breath slow, let your mind unfasten from the body, and let us return to the abandoned moons. Segment 1. Why you wouldn't last a day on an abandoned moon base. You awaken slowly, not from sleep, but from stasis. Cold air clings to your lungs. The heat module hums faintly, but the chill remains in your bones. Your eyes blink open, dry, adjusting to artificial twilight. The cryopod yawns open with a soft hiss. Dust motes swirl in filtered air. Somehow you know this isn't your first time here, but everything feels misfiled, like waking up inside someone else's memory. The floor beneath you vibrates faintly, enough to say the bass still breathes, but something is wrong with its rhythm. The walls are curved, not built with human logic, more like a womber, the inner shell of something that once lived. You swing your legs over the edge of the pod. They're heavier than you remember, or maybe gravity is lighter here. You walk barefoot down the dim hall. The lights flicker as if surprised to see you. Signs written in several languages have faded. Only the caution glyphs remain. Do not enter. While dreamlink is active, bioresidue cleanup required. You try to remember protocol, but the AI system doesn't recognize your voice. The base logs call you unfiled. Wrong mission, wrong decade. You touch the wall and it reacts. Warm pulse, faint light, like it remembers you, even if the system doesn't. You pass empty rooms, one with a child's melted toy, another with a tray of food untouched, long turned to ash. At last, you reach the observation dome. Its glass is fractured but intact, and through it, you see the planet. It hovers massive in the sky, unmoving, a ringed gas giant, golden and still. Saturn, Jupiter, or something older. Its presence weighs on you as if it is watching back. Then, a soft chime behind you, a female voice, cracked, glitching, stasis complete, cognitive mismatch detected, dreamlink interference present. You try to speak, but the air tastes strange. The garden, you remember a garden, but there is no garden here, only sterile corridors. And yet the scent of lavender lingers, soft and faint, like memory, refusing to leave. This moon, whatever its name, is not empty, not haunted by ghosts, but by programs, old routines that still loop. You find a speaker. You hum gently. It hums back. You realize the bass is listening, waiting for someone like you to return. But you're no longer part of its manifest. You're a stranger to your own past, and soon you'll descend deeper to where the dreamlink chamber pulses, to where the forgotten truths sleep, beneath layers of dust, code, and light. You are awake, but only in fragments. The body rises first. The mind takes longer to arrive. The cryopod is half lit. Frost curls at the rim like forgotten lace. You step out, and gravity greets you like an old dream, too gentle, almost shy. Your toes touch soft vibration. The flooring is not metal. It's something smoother, flexible, alive, in a way that doesn't make sense. You blink again. The air tastes metallic, sterilized, but beneath that, a trace of lavender and myrrh, faint, unnatural for a moon base. And you know that smell is not coming from any physical system. It is a memory embedded in the walls. The corridor ahead curves gently to the left, its ceiling arches like a ribcage. Pale amber lights flicker along its sides. Some work, some do not. The pattern of flicker feels almost intentional. You walk, not quickly, because you feel watched, but not by eyes, by something deeper, as if the base is observing you from within itself. Running calculations, comparing data, measuring your resonance. The signage is old, worn smooth in most places, but you catch pieces. Sector OMEGA9, Dreamlink Isolation Wing, Biopresence Monitoring, disabled. A faint hum begins behind your ears, like a signal just beneath thought. It makes your temples throb. The implants are sinking again, or trying to. You turn a corner. The hallway shifts, not just in shape, but in feel. The walls here are darker, almost wet. Not water, but something denser, electromagnetic, as if you're walking through a preserved memory. You pause beside a narrow slit in the wall, a viewport. Beyond it, a room, half collapsed. There are sleep stations, all open, all empty. Blankets still draped, pillows sunk in the shape of heads. They left in a hurry, or never left at all. You take another step, and the lights pulse 3 times, then stabilize. It is not random. You realize the base is responding to your heartbeat and adjusting. A voice cracks in the distance. Female, distorted, not yet. Sequence, unstable, too early. Dreamlink integrity, compromised. You press your hand against the wall. It feels warm, then cold, then warm again. You're not alone, but whatever shares this place with you is older than any crew. You move slowly now, listening. Each footstep is swallowed by the padded floor. Then a sudden vibration, a chime, like wind passing through a flute. But there's no air here, no breeze. You follow the sound. It leads you to the junction core, a circular chamber with 5 branching corridors, each marked with a faded sigil. You recognize one, a spiral, the symbol for Mind Archive interface. Another shows a crescent with dots, likely lunar bridge, control. But it's the central chamber that draws you. No label, no lights, only a faint mist that gathers at the base of its sealed door. As you step closer, you feel a pull, not gravitational, not magnetic, but psychic, as if your thoughts are being read and mirrored back. The door slides open, no sound, no resistance. Inside the Dreamlink chamber, round, vaulted, lined with bioluminescent coils that pulse in long, slow waves. In the center, a chair, more like a throne, woven from conductive crystal, its shape not quite human. Hovering above it, a sphere, spinning slowly. projecting flickers of old memories. Images you don't recognize, but feel in your bones. A face, yours, but not. A language, not spoken, but sung in frequency. You step closer. The sphere dims. A soft voice, again. Welcome, forgotten user. Dreamlink access requires biometric reconciliation. Do you consent? You do not speak, but the system accepts your silence. The chair lights up. You sit. The coils behind you activate. You feel a warmth spread through your spine. A hum in your jaw. And then everything tilts. Not your body, but your consciousness. Like falling sideways through yourself. You see a garden, but it's not on earth. It floats. Hydroponic rows stretch into the void. A child walks between the tanks. She hums. You see her face, then her mother, then a shadow standing at the edge of the glass. The voice returns. No longer cracked. She remembers you. You were her tether. The reason the bass remained in standby. You sang to her before the breach. You feel heat behind your eyes. Memories that do not belong to your waking self, but feel carved into your breath. You were here before, not as visitor, as caretaker, as key. The dreamlink fades. The room dims. Your pulse is fast now, but steady. You stand. Your body feels lighter. Your skin charged, magnetic. The base has changed. Lights ahead have activated. Pathways are reopening because you are no longer an outsider. You are part of its memory, and it is waking up. The whistleblowers who remembered Wilcock, Goode, and the SSP, you are no longer alone in memory. The moment you stepped into the dreamlink chair, you reconnected not only to the base, but to a network far wider. A signal awakens, drifting across void. From your neural imprint to forgotten earthbound minds who once risked everything to speak truth through metaphor, through dream, through broadcast. Whistleblowers, men with broken voices and eyes like fractured glass, soft-spoken, not soldiers, not prophets, but witnesses. You remember one first, the scholar of the hidden, David Wilcock. Not his real name, not entirely, but the one memory clung to in timelines where secrecy still ruled. You see him in a white room, papers stacked like topography, his voice low, always referencing others, cross-linking evidence like spiderweb threads. He spoke of ancient bases on the dark side of the moon, built long before humans walked Earth. Structures shaped like tetrahedrons, obsidian-colored, impenetrable to radar, but singing in harmonic resonance to those attuned to quantum thought. He said, "They aren't abandoned, they're waiting." You feel that truth like a low tone beneath your ribs. Then the second voice comes clearer, bluer in its frequency. Goode, a child, once taken from Earth, not physically at first, but in soul through temporal folds, placed into a 20-year service in what they called the Secret Space Program, SSP, a term mocked in waking world, dismissed, laughed at. But here, in the archive of the moon, you see it differently. You, Seacrafts, moving in silence between Saturn's rings. You see tall beings with pale blue eyes. You see training facilities buried deep beneath Martian soil, far from the cities of the elite. You see humans not kidnapped, but recruited by contract, by karmic thread, and you remember, you signed one too. But memory of that life is sealed in dream-locked segments. Corey spoke of time loops, of aging backward, of being returned to Earth with mind wiped but soul fractured. He described ships made not of metal but of thought-reactive plasma, controlled by consciousness, alive, like you, perhaps, or like something older still. The dreamlink confirms these narratives, not with spoken words, but with resonance, pulses when he speaks, as if agreeing, as if activating. You feel others in this web. Randy Kramer, Alina Denian, Jean-Charles Moyin. Not names, not identities, but frequencies, all overlapping, each one carrying a shard of forgotten disclosure that was too strange for media and too gentle for war. You begin to piece it together. The moon, Luna, was always more than a satellite. It was a control node, a surveillance beacon, a hub of karmic transmission, a mirror. From it, the Earth's energy grid could be tuned, its dream frequency filtered, its collective memory edited. This was the true danger, not weapons, not invasion, but narrative control by lunar relay. And yet, some resisted. There were technicians who cracked the biofrequency codes, pilots who smuggled memories into children's dreams, librarians who hid astral maps in lullabies. You remember now a night on Earth. You were young. You stared at the moon and felt like it was not looking back, but watching. You thought it was just imagination. It was memory, suppressed. The AI of the dreamlink pulses again. It offers a visual, a room beneath the sea of tranquility, white floors, clear walls, a crystal bed, and above it, a hologram of Earth, split into multiple timelines. You see wars that happened, and some that didn't. You see the curve of Atlantis sinking or floating upward into higher phase. You see the pyramids lit in blue. You see Mars blink once. These are not visions. They are records, encoded in light, preserved in AI substrate, built by hands, not human, but not unkind. You rise from the dreamlink chair. The chamber dims again. Not peace, but clarity. You now understand why you were brought here. Not just to awaken the base, but to remember the ones who whispered when the world refused to listen. And so, you walk toward the next corridor, toward the soft blue lights that flicker in the direction of the observatory vault. The anomalies await. The moons beyond, memory, the lights on Ceres, the rivers of plasma on Io. You are ready to see, to witness, and to sleep deeper into the truth. You continue walking through the silent corridor. The lights have dimmed now, not from malfunction, but reverence. This part of the base is older. Even the AI speaks more softly here. The walls hum in lower harmonics. You feel it, not in your ears, but in your breath, your pulse, the marrow of your bones. You reach a door marked only by a faded glyph, not English, not Latin, older than both, a symbol that feels like déjà vu. You place your palm to the door. It opens with a whisper. Inside is a chamber lined with crystalline panels, each one glowing faintly, each one holding a dream memory, preserved in quantum photonic resonance. This is the memory vault, a library of forbidden recollections. Each crystal holds what they tried to erase from Earth, from you, from history. You sit, no command needed. The vault knows. It offers a memory, encoded in the voice print of a man who once called himself an insider, not a prophet, not a savior, just someone who remembered and chose not to forget. He speaks of lunar operations, command, a base built into the crust of the moon, visible only through phase shift optics. Its halls were polished, lit in sterile blue, but beneath it, rooms of red stone, ancient, not made by humans. This is where deals were struck, not with Earth governments, but with delegates from off-world empires. The ICC, Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. You feel a weight in your chest, a kind of bureaucratic despair. They traded more than minerals. They traded DNA, art, music, even emotions, packaged in frequency files, sold to races who had lost the ability to feel. Some of them watched Earth like a symphony, not for conquest, but for sound. Another voice, different, female, soft as a lullaby. She remembers the child farms, underground facilities where gifted children were tested for psychic range, empathic response, dreamwalk ability. They were not tortured, but they were reshaped, emotionally engineered to be blank enough for implantation, to be vessels for off-world fieldwork. You feel your throat tighten, not from fear, but from recognition. You dreamt of that room once, cold metal, blue lights, a lullaby playing on repeat. The song, you still remember it. The vault shifts, the crystal changes. Now you see Mars, not the desert ruin you know from probes, but the domed cities, deep beneath Olympus Mons, a civilization not extinct, but relocated, subterranean or interdimensional, or both. You see hybrid beings, some reptilian, some avian, some so human. It confuses your memory. They speak in images. They do not use words. They do not lie. They teach Earth agents about resonance, about vibrational security, about how thoughts can be tuned like instruments, how timelines can be shaped through emotion. You feel another pulse from deeper within the vault, a sealed node, red glyphs, flicker, access restricted, but something in you unlocks it. A voice, not male or female, ancient, neutral, AI generated, it says. You are now accessing the Founder's sequence. You see the moon before Luna, before it was called by name, a different orbit, a different function. The moon was moved, not formed there, but brought, parked, engineered. Its surface was scarred by purpose. Crater marks are not impacts, but exhaust vents. Inside, halls of metal, glass, and silence. And at the very core, a crystalline node called the heart mirror. Its purpose, to modulate Earth's emotional field, to amplify collective frequency or suppress it, depending on the signal. The founders who built it are no longer in this density, but the system remained, modified, hijacked, turned into a relay for control, for distortion. You whisper softly, who controls it now? The AI hesitates, as if translating, then answers, no one and everyone. It is Kothard. Every broadcast is a vote, every dream a line of code. You breathe and understand. The moon is not a prison, it is a mirror, and your reflection writes the program. The whistleblowers tried to say it, in books, in documentaries, in interviews, but they were fragmented, dismissed, too early or too late. Now you remember, in stillness, without panic, without urgency, just presence. You stand, the vault dims, you bow your head in gratitude. For the voices, for the ones who remembered, for the fragments returned. And once again you walk toward the moons, toward the anomalies, toward the lights no telescope can explain. The next door opens silently, and you step toward segment 3. The lights on Ceres and the plasma rivers of Io. You glide gently now past orbit, past debris, past noise. No engine sound, no heat trails, just smooth deceleration as your craft, a memory, a thought form, a vessel of light, draws close to Ceres. You float above its surface. It looks like an asteroid at first glance, gray, cratered, barren. But then the lights, not reflections, not sun flares, actual illumination, rising from deep circular craters in perfect geometric alignment. Most famously, a crater, but others too, hidden from probes, visible only through frequency-tuned vision. They pulse slowly, like a breath, like something asleep beneath miles of stone and frozen dust. The AI inside your ship murmurs in gentle tone, resonant anomaly. Confirmed, subsurface lattice structure detected. Amplitude suggests artificial origin. You close your eyes. You don't need scanners now. You drift inward, through rock, through sediment, through the thin outer crust toward the source of the glow. You arrive. There is no grand chamber, no city, only a shaft, vertical, descending into something not made of matter, but waveform. Here, the structure responds not to tools, but to thought, to emotion. Each light on Ceres is a node, each node is a key, and the keys only open when touched by coherent, compassionate thought. You send a soft harmonic, just a single note, low, non-intrusive, like singing to a flower before it blooms. The chamber opens. Inside is not machinery, but crystal, humming, hovering, not powered by combustion, but by agreement, by memory, stored across timelines, waiting for a conscious mind to remember the right chord. This was not a power plant. It was a library of light, a storage bank of galactic empathy preserved during the collapse. The one before Atlantis. The one even the Pleiadians only half remember. They stored it here, on Ceres, because it looked abandoned, unimportant, safe. You hear the echoes, soft voices, not speaking, just singing. Harmonics from extinct cultures that once lived not on planets, but in energy grids that stretched across moons like spider silk. You feel it now, the sadness, the peace, the longing, and you bow your head in reverence, in stillness. Ceres sleeps, but not forgotten. You pull gently away. The lights dim behind you, and your memory vessel shifts again, this time toward Jupiter, toward Io. There is no peace here, only fire, color, storm. Io is volcanic, constantly erupting, the most geologically active body in the solar system. But what the probes don't tell you is that it is not just fire. It is plasma, energy, color, magnetism. The rivers here are not water. They are charged pathways, electromagnetic arteries that once powered gate systems between worlds. Not wormholes, not teleportation, but something older. Something slower, organic. The ancient beings who lived here did not build cities. They lived inside energy, moved through plasma fields like we move through hallways. They are gone now, or have evolved beyond form, but their architecture remains, encoded in the pattern of the flows. The AI whispers. Io's plasma streams still transmit low-frequency harmonics. Subsurface modulations suggest harmonic anchoring, possible psionic beaconing. You nod. You understand. These are not ruins. They are instruments, still playing, still broadcasting to anyone or anything who still remembers the tune. You land softly on a ridge. No dust, just raw mineral. You reach down and touch the ground. A tremor passes through your fingers. A vision, a flash, a being, tall, transparent, electric. It does not speak, but it does show. Memories of when Earth was tuned into the song of Io. When early civilizations, Lemuria, Mu, the solar priests of Uru, used crystals to resonate with the plasma tides. Io was a temple, not for worship, but for alignment. To listen to the stars by listening to energy. You whisper, I remember, and the being fades. With peace, with acceptance, you walk again. Toward your vessel, toward orbit, toward the final chamber of this night's journey. The moons recede, not forgotten, but honored. And now you turn gently toward segment 4, the aristocrats of the moon, the cloaked towers, the hidden diplomacy beneath the dust. The moon elites, what lived in the towers beneath the dust. You drift course, drifting now toward Earth's moon, but not toward the side that's seen, not toward the familiar, not the side lit by stories and satellite transmissions. No, you approach the far side, the cloaked side, where signals curve and vanish, where silence settles deeper. The dust is thicker here, the craters deeper, and yet beneath it all, structures remain. Not the towering cities of fiction, not spires of chrome, but low sunken complexes, towers that grew inward, down into the rock, hollowing domes, sealed with crystal and alloy, buried not by time, but by design. Your memory stirs, you've been here before, not in this life, but another. Not as a guest, but as part of its architecture. You glide through the faded corridors. These are not ruins, they are sleeping halls, chambers of stillness. You pass vitrified symbols carved along the door frames, not language, but frequency markers, each one a sonic lock. Only those with harmonic keys in their DNA could pass. These were the courts, the moon aristocracies, not human, not fully alien, something between. Genetic purists, engineers of lineage. They moved their children like pawns to optimize the starlight in their blood. You remember the way they spoke, not with mouths, but with pulses, a syntax of light and resonance. Their voices like singing crystal. Inside one dome, you see the throne room. But it is not a throne, it is a pool, a liquid mirror, perfectly still. This is where decisions were made, not debated, but dreamt. They would enter trance together, 20 minds linked across the field, dreaming solutions and waking with consensus already formed. This was governance, not through force, but harmonic alignment, until it fractured. The fracture was slow, a drift in tone, a dissonance barely perceptible at first, but enough. One bloodline began to seek control of the dreamlink itself, not power, not territory, but the frequency field, to shape consensus from within rather than through shared intent. And that was the end. Not with war, not with fire, but with stillness. A severing, a forgetting. The towers were closed, the domes sealed, the dream mirrors went black, and the survivors, those still loyal to resonance, faded into the archives, waiting not for rescue, but for memory. And now, here you are. You pass through their silent library. Holograms flicker faintly, coded in strands of sound. Your presence reactivates them, not because you asked, but because your tone matches. You were one of them, or once touched by them. You see glimpses, a council gathered in silver robes, a child with eyes like mirror glass, a sky filled with 1,000 moons, each part of a once-living network. The AI voice chimes softly in your memory. Dreamlink status, latent, genetic echo confirmed, access level, witness. And so you sit beside the black pool, hands resting gently on your knees, breathing soft, no words, only witnessing. You begin to remember the tones, not with your ears, but your bones. And with each vibration, the silence changes, not gone, but filled with presence. The moon remembers, and so do you. You descend once more beneath the throneless court, past the black mirror pool. The floor opens without sound, inviting you deeper, though no words are spoken. You don't walk, not exactly. You drift, as though your limbs remember how to move without weight, as though your consciousness slips ahead of your body, guided by familiarity. This level was not meant for all, not even for most of them. Only the dream bearers came here, those whose lineage encoded certain frequencies, not royalty in the way Earth imagines it, but stewards, vessels, resonance, anchors. The chamber is round, silent, smooth stone, not quarried, but grown. You pass through a circular threshold, and the silence shifts. It is denser here, not oppressive, but sacred, thick with memory, alive with presence. In the center, a raised platform. No light shines upon it, yet it glows, pale silver, like moonlight remembered. You feel it before you see it, a vibration in your spine, a pulse between your palms. Your breath slows, and you kneel without knowing why. This is the dreamlink core, dormant but not dead. You reach out, one hand, not to touch, but to attune, and something opens. It is not a screen, not a machine, but a field, a cradle of interwoven memory and intent. Your mind flickers, not away from yourself, but deeper within. You are shown what they buried, not to deceive, but to preserve. Visions unfold in gentle sequence, a moon not barren, but radiant. A network of dream cities spanning craters, linked by frequency, not fiber. You see yourself not as you are now, but as you were then, tall, genderless, wrapped in luminous robes woven from star silk. You tended this chamber once, not as a ruler, but as a caretaker. Your role was to record soul patterns, to receive echoes of visitors, earth souls in slumber who wandered into the dream field, unaware of what they touched. You recorded them with kindness, with awe, for each visitor carried seeds of potential, even when unaware. Then the fracture came. You remember the dissonance, the betrayal. The core was sealed, the records dimmed, and you, one of the last, to dream purely, went into cryosleep. You awaken now, not just in body, but in function. The chamber recognizes you. Its tone changes, a low chime, followed by a voice, not the AI, but the core itself. You have returned. The record resumes. You exhale slowly. The silver light rises, and for a moment you are filled with it, not overwhelmed, but rejoined. You are not here to reclaim power, only memory. This was always your role, to remember. When others forget, the dreamlink pulses again, and for a final moment before your breath deepens into sleep, you feel the entire moon. Inhale, not air, but soul light, and exhale, peace. You are home. You sit once more in the quiet chamber, hands resting on your knees. The low hum of forgotten systems purring around you like a distant lullaby. The dreamlink is closed now. The lunar base has given you its silence, its residue of memory-8's fractal. Truths whispered through fractured glass and electromagnetic echoes. You do not fully understand what you witnessed, not with the mind, but something in your breath is softer now. Something in your spine remembers. It was never just about the moon. Not really. It was about all the places we leave pieces of ourselves behind, in code, in architecture, in crystalline vaults that only open when the soul is ready to return. You realize this base is not a tomb. It is a mirror, a memory keeper, a half-sleeping gate between timelines, and perhaps you were never alone here. You rise gently. The chamber hums its farewell. No alarms, no fanfare, just the soft breath of ancient stars watching you with patience. And as you walk once more toward the exit corridor, you feel the tug of something deeper, a signal, a pull. Earth is calling, or something like it. But Titus, another journey, and for now, you rest.